Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Shootin'theShit with Ollie and Rich.
I'm Ollie.
And I'm Rich.
Let's shoot some shit, mate.
Let's
How
do
have
it.
you been doing?
I know, it's been a long time. I haven't seen you for a while. That's a lie. But we haven't done a
shit.
shit.
Recorded for a while.
Yeah, that's what I
We
meant to say.
haven't shot shit.
Yeah, so what have you been up to in that time?
Work mainly.
Same.
Halloween, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Just gone by, so...
It's an awesome time of year.
It's not one of my favourites, to be honest.
Why?
I'm just a miserable bastard. I don't really bother much with the old fancy dress.
You did well this year. Did very well.
I did the bare minimum.
You put on a lab coat.
Yeah.
Did you put glitter in your hair?
See, it was meant to be blue, but should really read these things before purchasing
Yeah.
them.
I'm sure the person who owns the house is going to be greatly appreciative of finding blue glitter around the house.
Spreading the joy of Halloween.
Cool.
But no, my first bit of shit that needs shooting is Halloween related.
Okay.
I'm sure you're familiar with the idea of cultural appropriation. I think
I am.
we've spoken about this possibly before.
We have. Seems a common occurring thing in society today.
Well, an article I read made me laugh. It was reported on MRC TV, I believe. Right. This guy, kid in Canada, in Ontario, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Can't pronounce his name. Joshua StSwOaR.
Okay.
Probably horrendously wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But as per instructions,
Yep.
he got in touch with the school's official Twitter,
Mhm.
via Twitter,
Yep.
with his costume idea. Him and his friends, they were looking to go as a mariachi band.
Okay.
And the school said,
No.
no, this is very offensive.
Is it offensive though?
Well,
I
the
know.
thing is, he got in touch in reply.
Yeah.
He himself is Colombian. He's
Okay.
Colombian descent. And he says that, his own family, his grandfather always hires a mariachi band for his birthday. And although it started in Mexico, it's a tradition as much in Colombia now.
Okay. So if
He's
anyone
not
should be
allowed to wear dress as a mariachi because it would be culturally offensive.
see, that's where people. I can understand what the university are doing though.
It's not a university.
It's not a
a
university.
secondary school.
Well, actually, I can't understand what they're doing. Not gonna lie, it's stupid. Let him wear what he wants to wear.
Well, when pressed on it, he said, "While you may not find it offensive, others may."
Yeah.
Which is just ridiculous. These
But
people
anything-
taking offence for hypothetical kids in this school.
Anything you say can be taken. Like, an offence can be taken. Like, you
And
can't.
Culture is not a costume.
No.
No?
No, I don't. I don't believe culture is a costume.
You disagree that culture isn't a costume.
Oh, I misinterpreted what you were saying.
They're saying culture is not a costume.
Yeah.
Feel that's valid?
Well, what I was going to say was that your culture embodies you, like what you've been surrounded by and immersed in.
Mm.
So.
But the thing is, no Mexican people have said this is offensive.
Yeah,
The school has decided
that's offensive.
this is offensive.
But it's preempting.
Is that a good thing? Are you on the side of this?
The thing
Do you
is,
think he should
I
not
think-
be allowed to go? I mean,
I think-
whatever race he is.
I think he
and
should be allowed to go and wear what he wants. But in the other side, the flip side, what I can see is that you're going to get someone who's oversensitive, who's going to complain about it, and then it's just going to kick up a lot of fuss. So you might as well nip it in the bud
Or just
before.
ignore that person when that happens.
Yeah.
And let
It
them
gets to
get
that point
over
though,
it.
it's like, who do you cater for? The person who's going to get offended, or the person who could just not wear their costume, which would then prevent that person getting offended? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing is,
Or let that person do what they want to do.
offence often can't be helped.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not your right to go through life not being offended.
Fair.
Like, the world doesn't cater entirely for you in every ideal.
Yeah.
And you can't expect it to.
Fair.
I'm not saying, like, there's a difference between sort of, say, wearing a mariachi outfit and, for example, blacking up.
Yeah.
There is obviously a massive difference between those. I don't know, culture at the end of the day is just ideas, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's just ideas, but it's not an inherent thing, such as skin colour or sexuality or ethnicity.
Okay, yeah, I can agree with that.
You know, no one's... Like, a Mexican person isn't born with a natural genetic propensity to wearing a sombrero, a poncho, or being in a mariachi band.
Yeah, I agree with that. So what? Yeah,
So there is a difference. You know, everything in context.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's Halloween. People aren't trying to
people
make
go out
a racist statement.
dressed in a mariachi
culture.
band.
You're just dressing up as something out of the ordinary.
So would it have been alright for them to go as like...
For you, obviously.
Yeah.
In terms of culture.
Would it have been alright for them to go as like a Barbie princess or some foolishness like that? Like, I don't like the whole idea of like saying one concept, you know, is wrong and the other is right. In terms of dressing for Halloween, like, you can't...
What do you mean by Barbie princess outfit? Like...
So do you know, like, generic shit? Like, do you know how some girls dress as, like, you know...
Is what? Well, not on Halloween.
Skimpy dresses
on Halloween,
and stuff.
You dress...
Well, some people... What I'm trying to say is that we shouldn't create these barriers for individuals on Halloween.
So you're coming across slightly confused about this issue. Bounding around. So your view is you should be allowed to dress up as a mariachi band.
Yeah. But I can understand what the school is doing on the same side.
Well, they released a load of official rules.
Okay.
Sort of no masks.
Okay.
No full face paint.
Okay.
So I don't know, that's kind of killing the Halloween fun a little bit.
Yeah.
Dress code, whatever that means. So presumably not exposed, I guess. I don't know.
Well, it's secondary school, so that's
No weapons. That made it to the list. I would have thought that would go without saying. Sort of don't turn up with a handgun.
This is reflecting like society today, where people are very easily offended, though. So and individuals can be stupid, obviously, with weapons, but it's just a case of where the school is trying to protect themselves from possible litigation.
But from who? I mean, is there any reason to believe that any of the other children, the Mexican children, or the other Hispanic children, are going to be offended?
Well, a compromise that could have been done is that you could say this child's planning to go as a member of a mariachi band.
Him and his friends. Should say.
Yeah.
His friends, I don't know.
Their background.
The news story didn't specify their race.
Yeah. So basically, would you be offended if this child does this? If they say no, then it's all cushy. And if anyone has an issue after...
if someone does come forward and say, do we then just accommodate that person or that group of people?
Well, it comes down to this. Like, you either want to hear a load of noise because this person's going to go to the press and complain about it and say about it.
Just say no.
But that's bad for your school.
People need to educate their kids. They're still going to send them to the school. Like,
fair.
Who's it really going to piss off?
Yeah.
Is it going to piss off the local community or the internet community?
Probably the internet community.
There we go.
Fair. Cool. Should we move on to something else?
Yeah, what have you got, man?
Cool. Sounded very like Rick there.
Sorry, still in character.
Cool. So one thing that I found pretty interesting in my searching for articles to talk about on this very podcast was basically this new art piece that will be unveiled in 2016. And it's by a young artist called Brooke Purvis. Okay. So this individual, basically, he's talked about how, like, you know, money is a made up thing. It's like a concept that, you know, is thrust upon us to sort of enslave us into a certain way of thinking. You know, sort of like he was mentioning these whole ideals on, like, you know, you're going into university for something to better yourself, but, you know, you're getting yourself in a mad amount of debt. And then, like, it's a continuous vicious cycle of you trying to obviously, you know, work to get money to pay that back. And then, well, anyway, to the point is that he's burning
servitude.
Yeah.
You owe people money, you have no option but to take whatever job's available.
Yeah.
And you've not really got that much freedom.
No. So basically what he's doing is burning his student loan.
Huh.
Burning all of that.
So, I mean, because is that just tuition fees, or because they're $9,000 a year?
Yeah.
So that's,
I wouldn't think it's the tuition fees, because he's not going to actually get that. That's paid directly to the university.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
So it'll be like sort of a maintenance grant and whatnot.
That's what, like 3,000-4,000 a year.
But like, people have made valid points to him. It's just like, surely you're burning some money that other people would really appreciate. Like, to me, like, burning that much money, like, I come from a single parent family, so like, getting a loan was like the greatest thing to me. Like, you know, getting maintenance grants and like whatever. I needed the dough.
The option.
You know?
Would it not be better if you were just taught for free?
Yeah, but that's not possible, Ollie.
Is it not?
It's not.
It's absolutely not, is it?
It's not.
We can just decide that
everything needs, you know, money.
Society.
Hate it or lump it. Hate or lump it? Love it or hate it, whatever.
Love
Basically, that's the one that I was looking for. Money is what makes this world go around. Which shouldn't be.
A terrible, terrible shame, and it doesn't have to be.
But based on how our society works, you will not be able to run universities for free. Like, the Lib Dems, like, they realised their error when they got in bed with conservatives. Like, they gave them a good dicking, and then they realised, yeah, she's right. I was referring to the conservatives as, you know, cool.
Well, I mean, I don't believe that education does need to be
paid for
by the sort of the user. I mean, we need people doing degrees in society. There are jobs that require specific types of education.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these people ultimately will pay more tax and they contribute to society.
Okay.
Not saying that you need to do that to do those things, but they are ultimately doing something that is beneficial for us all in many cases.
Yeah.
Doctors, possibly lawyers.
Mm-hmm. But I think this piece of art, well, it is. That's the thing. You can't call it not art, because art is, you know, it could be anything.
Well, yeah, it's a perfectly valid artistic statement to make.
But like, someone actually did say to him,
K Foundation, I think, some pop art group in the early 90s,
Mm-hmm.
mid 90s. They did a film where they burnt £1 million just in some cottage on an island somewhere.
Oh,
£1 million.
I'm infuriated by this, because like, just think about how, like, constantly on the TV you're getting guilt tripped about like some starving person from some country. I'm not going to generalize, because there's starving people all over the world.
Yeah.
And we could help them. Like, they're asking us to donate that money. If you don't believe in the concept of money, whatever, and like the whole ideology behind it, give the money away to someone who actually does believe it and needs it.
This is making more of a statement. I mean,
I think it's madly disrespectful. Because one of the things that he said, actually, if you looked back into his history, is that like he was a cab driver.
Right.
Yeah. And he basically got caught doing a load of graffiti.
Right.
Which then meant that he obviously lost his job as a cab driver. I don't know how that directly.
Was it of a political nature?
Right, I don't know.
Big oversized day or ACAB?
Don't know. But basically, he was on bail or something like that. I think it was like 18 months or whatever. So basically, he's now had to go into this as a career, like art, go to university to obviously make a living. He's an art student.
Okay.
To make a living, you know, get to where he wants. But like, do you not see that he's sort of, you know, at fault to some extent?
In what
for
way?
the situation that he's in.
Well, for his personal situation, but his point is probably much wider than just him. I mean, if he's arguing that all money is worthless and that people should have free access to education.
Yeah. But he said it's fiction. Money is not fiction. Like, it is literally, you know, is a physical being. Like, it's real.
Well, most of it isn't.
I know you're going to say it's not fact or whatever, but
it's
it's
actually in physical existence. It is just on computers. He is sort of right. I mean, we have pretty much the world over. Every country has sort of fiat currency.
Okay.
So basically, its value only comes from sort of basically a declaration of the state.
Yeah.
Some sort of law or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't actually represent anything. It's not like in the old days when sort of you'd be given either money sort of made out of gold, silver, whatever, or basically some sort of slip.
Yeah.
A promise, something that says this is worth, you know, X amount of gold, X amount of silver, whatever.
Okay.
Money at the moment, it's not tied to sort of any, as far as I'm aware, sort of physical resource or sort of it doesn't represent labour hours or effort or anything. It is just its value comes entirely because the government says use this.
I'd say one of my great beliefs to me is that if you put work in, you'll get somewhere. Yeah, he's complaining about the system, but the system.
True, is it? Lots of people get shafted statistically, you know.
This system.
If you're sort of born poor, there's a fairly good chance you're going to remain poor, unfortunately.
Right, I'm going to carry on my point. But this system is here, and you got to deal with it now. That money that he's got, he could do something actually that will make a change. He can get his art career on the go. And get shitloads of money. I don't understand what the problem is.
Well, maybe he doesn't want to make shitloads of money. Obviously not, because he's burning a shit ton of it. You
Fuck off.
Like I say, it's a perfectly valid artistic statement to make. And you say he's not doing anything. Well, you know, maybe it's not as productive as, I don't know, many other things he could be doing with the money. But at the same time, it's a perfectly valid statement to make. And it is his money at the end of the day.
Fair. Cool.
What else are you going to do? Just piss out the wall? Most students.
That'd be a fun experience for him.
Yeah, no, it was a great 3 years.
Yeah. Cool. Right, now we've covered that quite succinctly. Another thing that I found interesting was basically linked to the movie called Suffragettes.
Right, yeah, carry on.
So basically they were doing some sort of t-shirts that was associated to it, and they used very choice words. Promotional t-shirt called what the slogan that's on there is I'd rather be a rebel than a slave.
Right.
Now people with their oversensitive nature are getting upset with basically the link between the inability to vote as a woman in, you know, Britain to slavery, which, you know, was a dehumanizing thing. See, my thing here is you need to look at the statement that they're saying is, you know, they're trying to don't know how to put it.
There's an element of one-upmanship to it.
Yeah.
Sort of my oppression, my struggle is.
You can't say that one struggle is better than another person's struggle.
Harder and longer than yours.
Struggles are struggles.
Well, yeah. The thing is, hearing that, I don't think they probably literally meant slaves.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we used to have.
Yeah.
I think they probably just, you know, were using it as a general reference to, you know, just following the natural order.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily the natural order, the prevailing order.
Yeah.
Whatever the government and society has decided. I don't know, it seems like a stupid thing to get upset about. I mean...
Well, it's linked to, greater and more context is that basically in this film, the majority of the cast are Caucasian.
You mean
white?
Yeah, no, I know what Caucasian means, but this is a film about the British suffragettes of the... When was it? It was between the two world wars, wasn't it? Was it? Yeah. Probably know that. Yeah.
So what I found pretty amusing is reading this article is that, you know, they said that obviously there was Indian individuals, so they could have some Indian individuals within, you know, the movie as suffragettes or whatnot, but black women apparently would have been turned away and sort of laughed at if they even thought about joining that movement.
Really?
Well, no, that's what the person who wrote the article said to me.
Did he have any sort of sources or anything for that?
I didn't look down at the bottom of the page.
Fair enough.
So
maybe
that was backed. I can imagine that to be so. No, that's awkward. So yeah, but the author also said basically that would people or individuals not find it more offensive if they just put a load of black people into a movie which is not historically, representative of the time?
Well, I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, sort of the British suffragette movement would have been predominantly white women, simply because Britain was predominantly white. Yeah.
See, do you know, the polar opposite here now is that, say for example you had, a movie about Oprah.
Right, yeah.
Oprah's a
white woman.
Oprah is a black woman, like a big black woman.
Yeah.
A beautiful soul, just not a beautiful body.
Oh.
Now if you got some nice blonde something with a couple of nice assets,
You're referring to the breasts.
I am, and some nice buns at the back. Individuals would be offended by that, So why? It links back.
I'm sure individuals are probably offended by what you're just saying in context of the suffragette movement, but
people can take it or lump it.
Well, yeah, people would be offended if you were to take Oprah and replace her with a white person in the film. Do you not think that would be understandable?
Well, should we not have individuals based on the merit of their, this links back to Matt Damon.
Yeah, but if you're doing a biographical film, then that does seem like something you would keep consistent, is getting someone who sort of looks like them.
Fair.
Which a skinny blonde chick is not going to look anything like.
She wasn't skinny, she was nice with buns and assets. So going back to the actual point of what I was trying to talk about was the link to slavery. Do you not think it's sort of trying to own a word there and just monopolize it to the struggle, of the slave trade?
Well, women weren't, they weren't literally slaves, but again, I don't think it was supposed to be taken literally as we were slaves.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was more just a general comment, sort of, it's better to sort of stand up for yourself and to fight for your rights than it is to just go with the status quo.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's just a sort of a sensible and mature way to look at it without losing my shit.
Yeah. I do really get annoyed by these social justice warriors.
Oh.
Because I think stuff like this desensitizes individuals. When there is actually something that is of relevance and of substance, that's incorrect, and has actually, affected individuals on a great scale. People don't care as much because it's they're just complaining about another thing again. And for individuals that are actually oppressed and stuff, even it winds them up and annoys them.
Mm.
Because it's just when we actually need help, people are just well, you complained about something the other day. Why should we listen to you now?
Yeah, no, I think as well, sort of a lot of the way, I'm not against political correctness necessarily in everyday sort of, every thing with words is it's all about context, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you're having a joke with a buddy, then you might be able to use slightly saltier or more offensive language than if you were talking to, say, your nan.
Yeah.
And, depending on your friendship, your relationship, the people around you, then maybe you'll use whatever words. But at the end of the day, political correctness isn't a bad idea. It's sort of in general day-to-day interaction.
Yeah.
It's probably wise not to keep using certain words.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about context.
Yeah.
But context doesn't matter to these people.
No.
It's just...
They'll probably get offended that you call them these people.
Well, I was referring to the sort of overly PC types.
Mm-hmm. It's sad. Sad that people are like that.
Yeah.
As Azealia Banks did say.
Offense, she went a bit too far the other way there, didn't she?
Offence is not given, it is only taken.
That's not true either, is it? You can definitely be deliberately offensive.
Yeah, but you're just using the words that God has given you to use. It's up to that other individual to take it into context.
I imagine you feel that way about all words then, yeah?
There are there's one exception.
There's one exception, the one that offends me. You're just like these people.
But I'm not going...
If it upsets me, then it's not allowed.
But in terms of that word, like, I'm of the belief that if individuals of that, group who are offended by that are using it, you're kind of giving individuals an excuse to use it.
Well, no, not entirely. I mean, again, it's all about context.
Well,
there's a historical context to that word, which is why it's often, it's not tasteful, let's say, for a white person to use it, just openly and casually. Again, it's about context. If you've got friends with predominantly sort of black people, or one particularly close black friend, and you maybe use words around him, or her, then
it's all cushy.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Yeah. Well, the point I was getting to was in terms of the music industry and like the rappers, using that word all that time, and a common excuse.
It's context, isn't it? And it's also they're telling that's how people speak in the backgrounds many of them come from, or at least the image they're trying to present. So it's going to be a major theme in the sort of the music, isn't it, man?
It's a fair point. Cool. Should we
just shutting you down?
You have. Should we end it on that note, even though it is a pretty short show?
Yeah, no, I've just been so busy this week, so not had
time.
No, just not had the time to look at stupid bollocks on the internet.
Yeah. So sum it up, I was confused at the beginning because kind of didn't get what you were talking about.
Indeed.
And then we spoke about an idiot who's gonna burn all that money. He's burning his life away, Ollie.
I'd say it's not necessarily a sensible thing to do, but it's not. I wouldn't call it idiotic.
Do you know, actually, one thing that I found interesting is that one individual in the comments section, like on Facebook, was talking about.
This is going to be insightful and full of wisdom. I can.
It's just like, do you know what? This is actually like an amazing experience because like he's going to experience something that not many other individuals have. And to me, that's very like short-sighted there because like
what the experience of burning the money. Is not many people have that.
Yeah, experience. But then like you should compare that to the plight that a lot of individuals have when they're born into poverty. Those individuals don't want that experience, and it's sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Disrespect. Well, I'll just use the word disrespectful. Yeah, it's disrespectful to those individuals. Like that's not an opportunity that you should strive to have. Like if you've got that opportunity,
well, I don't think he's doing it just to say necessarily, or maybe he is. I don't know the bloke. I don't know how sincere he is, but
it's a protest against the bondages that the government and etc. have like given to us.
Tear it all down, man.
Yeah, but that's not going to tear it down.
Well, no, but just giving it away won't either, will it? I'm not saying that he should burn it rather than give it away.
Yeah.
I think it would probably ultimately do more good if he gave it away, but I mean, no one would know about it then, would they?
Fair. Cool. And then at the end of the show, we also talked about the Suffragettes.
I almost forgot there.
I always forgot, but I didn't.
Such a memorable conversation it was.
It was amazing.
Anyway,
as so was their movement. Because women should definitely be equal.
Oh, you did it. Anyway, I've been Ollie.
I've been Rich.
And we've been shooting the shit, and we'll catch you later. Bye!